Imagine you're a student sitting at your desk for 6 hours a day, staring at a Zoom box. In the United States alone, you are one of more than 55 million students in grades K to 12 who are stuck doing remote learning. Because of this, student participation and engagement have reached an all-time low. In a nationally representative survey of 600 teachers, 2/3 reported that their students were less engaged during remote instruction than before the pandemic. As a student myself, I get it. Many of us are drained with virtual learning. We miss the collaborative nature of working with classmates, or the hands-on aspect of performing labs and working on projects. Currently, the education system assesses a student knowledge through testing. Because of this, there is less emphasis put on developing the real-world skills that are imperative for students joining the workforce. Even worse, the current remote learning system excludes kids who have more trouble paying attention or performing well in class. When students are forced to listen to lectures or complete worksheets for hours on end, there is a decrease in engagement, making it even harder for many to succeed in such an environment. We must rethink the way we educate youth and use technology to its fullest. Increasingly used as a method to foster creative thinking, project-based learning, or PBL, is a proven method of improving student engagement. PBL is driven by student inquiry. It asks students to analyze real-world problems and develop their own questions through critical thinking. It's focused not only on the final product or solution, but also the process of reaching a conclusion. It is inherently hands-on. Project-based learning requires collaboration between peers, teachers, and professional mentors while teaching teamwork and delegation of responsibility. Though it is difficult to conduct PBL projects in person now due to coronavirus, we can use technology to make them accessible to a wide range of students. We present to you Edukos, the only project-based learning platform that is completely customizable based on the classroom's needs. Teachers will assign a variety of impactful projects which students will choose from depending on their interests, thus incentivizing learning. Let's delve into the experience of a student using Edukos.
When our student Anima opens Edukos, she's greeted with a list of projects that she's currently working on. For example, she's working on the water quality project, which is about the Flint water crisis and environmental racism. On the resource board for this project, she began by getting a general understanding of the problem at hand. And this is a collection of articles and videos that the teacher had compiled for her and her other classmates. At the very top, she clicked to go to the See, Think, and Wonder section of Edukos. Here, she began by making observations, taking notes on what she saw and heard and read in her articles and videos, and then, to initiate the creative process, she filled out the Think and Wonder columns. But she wasn't just regurgitating information. Instead, she was beginning to develop her own ideas. At any point, her teachers could see her progress and give her feedback in the bottom right corner of her page. In the Questions tab of this project, Anima expanded upon the wonders that she had in the past page to develop a more precise idea of what she was interested in learning about. Then, she was grouped with teammates that her teachers thought had similar questions, and together they are now working on building some sort of proof of concept or final product. In the understand, design, and build phase of that process, she and her teammates are first learning more about specific ideas relating to their question, and then they will be in the design section outlining elements of their solution, whether it be the prototype or scientific methods, and then in the build section actually executing those plans, creating some sort of final product that they can upload to their project portfolio. In the tasks assignment section, she and her teammates are able to delegate work to each other, and this ensures meaningful contributions and it keeps people on track. In the top right, there's a little pie chart showing which students have already completed their tasks. And while this can increase student motivation, it's a toggleable feature, so teachers can choose whether to display it to their students or not. Anima can request a meeting at any point with any other student, whether they are on the team or not. And she can also request a meeting with a teacher or a designated expert, like a class alum. These meetings are to talk about team progress, to exchange feedback, to bounce ideas off of each other. And they're also for students to be able to ask their teachers for guidance. Next is the journal. Here is where Anima reflects on the skills that she's learning, the obstacles that she's having to overcome. The takeaways here are more broad than the ones in the journal, and they give students a better idea of their personal strengths and their personal weaknesses. Once Anima and her team finish with their final product, they upload it to the project portfolio. Here, not just teachers, but other classmates not from the team are able to see the work that they have done. Students are required to give feedback to other students and other teams, and this way they develop an understanding for how to give critical but useful feedback. And the last step is to reflect. So here's what the reflection board might look like once Anima finishes her project. On the left, Anima thinks about roles she took on successfully in the team, new skills that she's learned, and on the right, she thinks about how she could improve for future projects. The takeaways here are more broad than the ones in the journal, and they give students a better idea of their personal strengths and their personal weaknesses. And it gets them thinking about the problem-solving skills that they'll need to tackle even more difficult questions. Overall, Edukos gives students a more exciting environment to learn. Let's hear more from Karina.
Not only that, Edukos addresses several problems with these platforms. Take, for example, PBL Works, which educates teachers about project-based learning, or Project Pals, which seeks to make the implementation of PBL easier. PBL Works provides no standardized method for creating and administrating PBL projects, while Project Pals simply misses key features for developing projects that solve real-world problems. Project Pals gives students work within the narrow scope of the school curriculum. In other words, it does not encourage students to come up with their own ideas. Edukos, on the other hand, allows teachers to implement project-based learning projects specific to their classrooms, and in such a way that equips students with the skills and mindsets they need to solve relevant issues. Additionally, we plan on making Edukos free so that schools can use our platform regardless of their budgets or financial abilities. Here's our timeline to implement Edukos. So first in December, we plan to finalize the platform's development and begin to establish preliminary partnerships with school districts. By January, we will release the beta version of Edukos into these schools. Throughout the month, we will engage in an iterative process of improving our product based on teachers and students' feedback. Finally, in February, we plan on releasing the stable version for widespread use in schools and facilities. In the long term, we will continue to develop and grow features such as our mentor network of industry leaders, as well as scale our product globally. Edukos will revolutionize education by providing students with the resources to learn about what they are passionate about, and at the same time, challenge them to solve really tough problems. Edukos will increase student success rates and enforce longer memory retention, as well as deeper understanding of what they have learned. Not only that, but Edukos will help students be more engaged and have better attitudes towards learning. Because this learning is driven by curiosity rather than just memorization, students will develop a mindset that allows them to apply what they have learned to current issues and their future jobs. As we continue to develop Edukos and introduce it to schools across the nation, we will work towards implementing this platform worldwide, including underprivileged regions, so that no matter a student's socioeconomic background or even test-taking abilities, we can provide them with the opportunity to thrive as learners, problem solvers, and creators. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Edukos. All right, time for the judges, and let's go to the first question from Stefan.
Thank you for a great presentation and a very interesting topic. Do you have some inbuilt features like virtual labs, for example, for the water quality project, so that in fact the students can do some things within the application?
So that is actually a feature that we have yet to implement. Basically, what Edukos, it implements like different steps throughout the problem solving aspect, but we are definitely looking towards like implementing additional features to make that process even easier. But as of now, in its beginning stages, we'll have the students conduct these labs and the brainstorming process and experimenting process in schools where they have the supplies. But definitely that's something we are looking forward to implementing in our platform.
Thank you for the question. Thank you, Edukos. Question from Colin. It starts, exceptional presentation, but how will you afford to continue to develop the product without a revenue source?
So basically, we will actually gain this revenue through partnerships with different foundations and hopefully have fundraisers in order to gain the money required to continue developing this platform. And we will also try and get sponsorships as well.
And what's really great about this platform is that once it's built, it's like basically that gets the ball rolling. So the teachers can implement their projects, but it's basically getting that mainframe. And then from there, if we do need updates, doing things like these hackathons are a perfect way to gain that income that we would need.
Thank you very much. Next question from Daphne.
Thank you. Great presentation. Just tell me a little bit about your marketing. So you're competing obviously with other products that are similar. What would make a student want to search or find this type of learning for their online experience?
So we would directly partner with schools. So we've already taken surveys with students and they have shown support for this product because as we said, many students can relate to this lack of engagement in school and it's very easy to get distracted. So by partnering with schools, we'll have them directly implement it within their curriculum, but we're also planning to reach out with email marketing, set up a social media presence to get the word out, but there's definitely many ways you can go from there. But from the beginning, we'll start with partnering with schools.
And I would also like to add on that students are choosing the projects based on what interests them. So they're not going to be forced to learn about things that they really don't, or that they're not passionate about. So that will instantly motivate them to continue on with the project. And different aspects of the project will kind of be catered to specific students. So if students are very interested and are good at public speaking, they will be great for the presentation aspect of the problem solving process. But if students are love to research and really gain a breadth of knowledge about that specific topic, they'll be great for the research aspect of this process.
Thank you very much, Edukos. I think, there's another question from Stefan.
Yes, a follow-up question. What do you see as the role of the teacher in these?
So the teachers will be the guiding force for the students. And basically the teachers will be monitoring the students because at the end of the day, we want the students to be growing and developing new skills and better understand themselves throughout the process. Teachers will also be able to give feedback. So if students are getting off track or they're having difficulties with being able to get that specific question that they want to solve, teachers will kind of steer them away and get them onto the right track and just ensure that the students are on the right track and they're reaching their full potential.
And teachers will design the curriculum and those projects that the students complete. So they'll be facilitating while also adjusting it to what they want to teach.
Fabulous. Thank you for the questions and thank you for the answers. No more questions for this session. Thank you very much, Edukos.